If you spent even 5 minutes looking into a home sauna, you already know that everybody is telling you that theirs is the best one. Infrared, traditional, hybrid, outdoor, indoor, every wood and every heat source you can think of. They all promise a completely different experience, and picking the wrong one is how an expensive upgrade turns into something you barely use. I've spent the last 9 years here at My Sauna World putting these into real homes. So I've seen which buyers end up using their sauna every single day and which ones end up with regret. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what each type feels like, who it's for, and where people get let down. By the end, you won't just have a favorite. You'll know which one is right for your space, your budget, and the way you plan to use it. Section 1, the question that decides everything. When somebody calls me and says they don't know where to start, my first question is always the same. Do you know the difference between an infrared and a traditional sauna? Because that one answer decides almost everything after it. So let me give it to you the way I give it to a buyer. If you want to be able to go from a dry sauna to a wet sauna, pour water on the rocks and steam the room up, that's traditional every single time. If what you want is a deeper, more penetrating heat at a lower temperature, that's infrared. The way I describe infrared to someone who's never tried it, it's essentially like running microwaves through your body instead of just sitting in a very hot room. And I'll be honest, some people hear the word microwaves and they get a little bit nervous. Maybe I should stop saying that. But the infrared units we carry are built to be low or zero EMF. And EMF just means electromagnetic fields. You're not exposed to the harmful parts of those heat waves. You're just getting the heat that penetrates deeper into your body. That low or zero EMF build is not standard across the whole industry, but it is standard on every single infrared unit we carry. And if you genuinely can't pick a side, there's a third door, which we'll get to. But get that first question right, infrared or traditional, before anything else. Section 2, what each one actually feels like at home. Now, knowing the difference is one thing, living with it is another. With a traditional sauna, I'll tell you up front, most people are ready to call it quits after about 20 minutes until they get used to it. The way you run it is you start dry for the first 10 or 15 minutes, step outside to cool off for a moment, then come back in and steam it up, going from dry to wet in the second half of the session. And what surprises most traditional sauna buyers is the same thing. They can't believe they went so long without one because they end up using it as often as they possibly can. Honestly, in 9 years, I'm not sure I've ever had someone come back disappointed by a traditional sauna. Mine's an outdoor traditional pod sauna, and it runs this Sauna Air Perfect heater. What the heater does that a standard one doesn't, it pulls the hot air off the top of the sauna and runs it back down through the Himalayan salt balls at the bottom. So it's recirculating the air and keeping the heat even through the whole room instead of just hot at the top. It's a real upgrade. But it only fits into larger units because you need the space for a heater this size. In fact, a large number of sauna heaters actually have a flue that runs floor to ceiling, which wouldn't work with a window this size. So this is a unique model that they've developed to go ahead and answer that question. If you have the room, it's worth asking about. I will say, as soon as your sauna heats up to 195 degrees and you turn on this fan, you're going to instantly notice that it'll say on the thermometer that it's cooled down to about 160 degrees. That's just the effect of that hot air coming down, mixing with the cooler air at the bottom, and you're getting an evenness to the temperature throughout the room. Infrared feels different. Most infrared buyers tell me they end up sweating more than they did in a traditional sauna. And just like the traditional owners, they're shocked at how often they use it once it's in the house. The one person who gets let down by infrared is the person who really wanted a hotter room and some steam, which is exactly why hybrids exist. Section 3, hybrid, for the person who cannot decide. It's infrared and traditional built into one single unit. This is for the person who just can't decide. Some days they want the deep infrared heat, some days they want the hot room and the steam, or it could be a split household. One person wants traditional, the other person wants infrared, and now nobody has to lose that argument. The one trade-off to know is that you're gonna have fewer units to choose from. The moment you decide you want a hybrid, your list gets a lot shorter. That's the only real trade-off. Section 4, the second question, where it's gonna live. Because we offer every type of sauna for both indoor and outdoor, so this is really its own decision. The question I ask to settle it is simple. Do you want to have to walk outside every single time you want to get in your sauna? For a lot of people, myself included, Walking outside is the whole appeal. An outdoor sauna becomes an architectural centerpiece of the patio. And on a cold day, I can heat mine up from my phone, walk out through the snow, and step straight into a sauna that's already hot and ready for me. Side note, one of my favorite things about wintertime sauna sessions is being able to walk out after a nice sweat, grab some snow off the ground, get some fresh powder, and rub it onto my head. I think there might even be a YouTube short of me doing exactly that. But outdoor isn't right for everybody. If you have limited mobility, or you'd rather not risk slipping on ice in the winter, you go indoor. Same if you have a home gym and you want to walk straight from the workout into the sauna, or if you want it in the bathroom so you can take a cold shower the second you step out. Side note about that too. Give yourself a little bit of time to cool down before you get into a shower after a sauna. Old Finnish saying about this, you should always rush into a sauna. You should never rush out of a sauna. One more thing that gets decided here, the wood. Different woods give off different smells as they heat up, and traditionalists love the smell of cedar warming up. But the newer thermally modified woods, which just mean the wood has been heat treated to resist warping and cracking, last on a much longer timeline. When it comes down to smell versus longevity, buyers usually pick longevity, and that's why thermally modified wood keeps getting more popular. And before any of this, plan your electrical and your final location. In my case, I poured a concrete pad on top of the sauna I'm sitting in right now, and you want to be sure it fits well where you're putting it. Section 5, the third question, how you will actually use it. How are you going to use it? Because that changes the size and the layout. Some people want to do a hot yoga session in there. Some people want to fit the whole family in at once. And some people just want a quiet place to have a little solitude at the end of the day. None of those is wrong, but they point you at very different saunas, so you gotta be honest with yourself about which one is really you. Section 6, the fourth question, price. Infrared saunas can start more around the $2,000 mark. Most traditional saunas start closer to $5,000, and from there it climbs all the way up to $50,000, $100,000 and beyond. What you're actually paying for as you go up in price is thermally modified wood, a larger space, more of a true architectural piece, and usually adding on a change room will add a lot to the cost. But that gives you the ability to get ready and cool down without having to open the door straight to the outside. Wherever you land in that range is fine. The point is to match the number to the sauna you'll actually use, not the other way around. If you've gotten this far and you're still not sure where you land on those 4 questions, that's exactly what my team does on a free consultation. You tell us your space, your budget, and how you want to use it, and we walk you to the right type. The link for that is down in the description. Now there's one thing I want to clear up, because it's the mistake I see people make all the time. Section 7, the one myth to drop. The most common thing I end up correcting is someone walking in convinced that infrared or traditional is the healthier choice, and that they have to figure out which one is better for them before they buy. I'm not going to make specific health claims on camera. It's not my lane, but the research doesn't settle it. There is no long-term study that proves that one type of sauna is better than the other. So you can stop trying to pick the healthiest sauna, because that's not the real decision. The real decision is which one you'll sit in a few times a week. The healthiest sauna is the one you're actually going to use. Choose the one you like the most and actually use it. Section 8. The payoff. Let me tell you about my friends Bob and Lisa out here in the Indianapolis area. They have a sauna they use every day they're not traveling, which is iffy because believe me, they travel a lot. And they absolutely love it. But here's the part that stuck with me. They talked to me about getting one for a good 2 to 3 years before they actually pulled the trigger. What finally pushed them over the line was simple. They finally had a dedicated space in the house to put a sauna in. And now their only regret is they didn't do it sooner. That's why I walked you through those 4 questions instead of just naming a winner. Because there isn't one. There is no single best sauna. There's the one that fits your answers on type, on placement, on how you'll use it, and on price. Answer those 4 questions honestly, and you won't end up like Bob and Lisa waiting 3 years to make a decision. You'll end up like Bob and Lisa now, using the thing every day, wishing you had done it sooner. So now you know the 4 questions, and you know how to answer them for your home. If you want to go one level deeper on the types themselves, how each kind of sauna is built, and what actually separates them, I made a full video on exactly that. It's called Every Type of Sauna Explained, and it's right here. Go watch that one next.